Hello students, today we are going to see another very important area of electromagnetic induction, and it's really very important for entrance point of view. We call this as rotational EMF. Now I would just like to remind you that we have already done the motional EMF. So I am assuming that you have gone through those videos, and then after going through those videos, then only if you watch this video on rotational EMF, it will benefit you. Now, what exactly is rotational EMF? Rotational EMF is similar to motional EMF. The only difference is that in motional EMF, the body was having a linear motion. In rotational motion, the same rod or the body will have a rotational motion. In that, the rod was cutting through the magnetic field. Here, the rod will again cut through the magnetic field, but in the rotational motion. So let's try to find out. For that, we will just start with the value of EMF. EMF is equal to BVL. Now this is the formula for what? This is the formula for translational EMF or motional EMF. Okay. With the help of this, we are going to derive the formula for rotational EMF. Now, let us say that you have a rod and this is the point which is pivoted or hinged, and this one is rotating with an angular velocity of omega, has a total length of L placed in a magnetic field. Correct? And we have to find what is the rotational EMF of this rod having a radius of L of rotation. Remember, if this is the pivot point, the radius of rotation is L. Now for that, what we will do, we will use the concept of rotational motion. If you do remember the formula for rotational motion, there is one formula of velocity and omega, and that is called V is equal to R times of omega. If you do remember of class 11 rotational mechanics, this is called tangential velocity and this is equal to the radius, and omega is the angular velocity. So what we are going to do now in this particular case, let us say that at a distance of R, I have taken a small strip such that this small strip has a velocity of V, and the thickness of this strip is equal to dr. Okay, so the thickness of this strip is dr, and that strip is at a distance of r from here till here, and that strip is having a velocity of v. So let us say that only for that strip, say that for the small element, of dr, let us say small EMF, small motional EMF developed is dE equals to, now look at how I'm going to put the formula. dE equals to field. This is my field. Velocity. What is the velocity of this? V. And V is equal to how much? V is equal to R times of omega. So V is equal to R times of omega. Okay? And then L. What is the length of this strip? The length of the strip is dr. Okay? So the length of the strip or the length of the small element is dr. So, in order to find the total EMF, what we will do now, we are going to integrate this. From where to where? From here till here. That means from 0 to L. And this will be equal to d omega. Integral of r dr is r square by 2 with the boundary from 0 to L. And that is equal to b omega L square by 2. Minus 0, and that is equal to the final expression b omega L square by 2. Okay. So this is the EMF of rotational EMF, V omega L square by 2. So I just write it here in the bracket. E equals to EMF equals to V omega L square by 2. What is L? Don't forget that L is the radius of rotation. Okay, that's very important part. Now, what will happen? Which end will have high polarity, which end will have low polarity? Then also we can find over here. If it is rotating anti-clockwise and the field is inside the board, then we have V cross B. Okay, this is my velocity V cross B. Capital B is going inside. So V cross B, positive will shift up, negative will shift down. So these are all my positive and these are all my negative. Okay, high potential, low potential. Fine. Okay, now just see what I am going to do next. So next what we are going to see is some numericals based on that formula. So let us not forget that here I have written for you that your L square, basically you will get confused. So basically L over here defines the radius of the rotation. So I am writing here as R and then I am writing here as radius. Now consider this particular question. In this particular question, which I want to discuss, in this particular question, so is the logic which will help you to get the answer of this question. Now let us say that this is rotating with an angular velocity of omega, okay, and the field, let us say, is inside again. Field is still inside over here, and you have this velocity. The length is L, exactly so far same. Now let me define some points over here: 0 point, A point, and then you have B point. Now the point which is fixed, we generally consider the point which is fixed as zero potential. Okay, this is very important. The point which is fixed in rotation, we generally consider that point as zero potential because this point is not moving. And that formula when we derive, we derive that formula with respect to one point at 0, another point till integrating till the distance of L. So here suppose if I ask you what is the potential difference between A and B, okay. So here you have to first find the EMF, induced EMF, that is the potential difference between O and A. VA minus VO. Now VA minus VO, what is the length? The radius here will be, from here to here, the radius of rotation is equal to L by 2. So that is equal to B omega. Here you will write as L by 2 whole square divided by 2. Now this, what you have got? You have got VA minus V0. Remember, these are all potentials. Then I will find O and V. So I will write here as VB minus VO. And for O and V, total radius is L. So that is equal to V omega L square by 2. And now once I have got this one, suppose this is my equation 2 and this is equation 1. How from this equation I can get B and A? Remember, B will be at higher potential. Okay. So this is zero potential, so the potential will increase. And as I told you, this will be at higher potential. So it will keep on going up. So over here, how will I find VB minus VA? So VB minus VA I can now find as by subtracting 2 minus 1. How will I subtract 2 minus 1? So I will get here as VB and this will get cancelled out. VB minus VA, and that will be equal to B omega L square by 2 minus B omega L square. Now 2 square is 4, then 4 and 2 gets multiplied. So I will write here as B omega L square by A. And then we can simplify that beyond, and then we can find the value of VB minus VA. Alright? Now let's move ahead. Let's try to explore more into this. say that now we have a situation. It was a rod which was rotating. Okay, now suppose, what if I consider, just think about this question now. Just consider that I have 1/4 of a loop. How much? 1/4 of a loop, and that 1/4 of a loop is having an angle of pi by 2. And this whole thing is about to rotate with an angular velocity of omega and has a radius of r. Now remember, what is the flux through this quadrant? We call that 1/4 of a loop as quadrant. There is no flux passing through it. As it starts entering into the field, I'll just show one of the situation over here. Just imagine this diagram. So this was the boundary. That means this much part has gone inside. Isn't the flux changing? Of course, flux is changing. And won't there be any induced EMF? Yes, there will be some induced EMF. And how much that is? Look for the behavior. Behavior is rotation. So the formula is d omega r square by 2. This also comes into the category of rotational motion. So any loop rotating of radius r will have the same induced EMF of d omega r square by 2. But my question is not how much is the induced EMF. That we can right away say that using the formula. My question to you is this. If I have to plot flux versus time graph, how I am going to plot the flux versus time graph. Okay. Now let us say that if this has an angular velocity of omega, say that at any instant of time, angular velocity, this angle will be equal to, which has gone inside the magnetic field at any instant of time, that angle will be equal to omega times of t. Okay. So if I have to find, okay, I will not drop this part. So if I have to find the area, because I want area to find flux, so I will start from the basic like this. So flux is equal to field multiplied by area. Okay. So if this is field multiplied by area, how much is the field and how much is the area? Area will be equal to, now this is very interesting part over here now. Where omega t is my angle over here. Okay, the omega t here is angle, and omega is 2 pi by t. That means omega here is, we know the value of omega 2 pi by t. That is t, capital T is the time period of rotation. So what is the area? Now for one complete area, we know that for full area of a circle is pi r square. Agree with that? Full area of any circle is pi r square. If I divide this by 2 pi, what will I get? I will get area per unit radian. Agree with that? Per unit radian. Because at the center angle made is 2 pi. And then I want to know only because of omega t part. I want to know only because of angle omega t. So this is the area which is inside the magnetic field right now, where it makes an angle of omega t. Alright? Okay. But this formula is valid only within a time zone. Time zone should be t by 4. Why? That time zone should be 0 to t by 4. Why t by 4? Any idea why t by 4? Because this is 1/4 of a quadrant. Capital T is the total time of rotation. So that means if 1/4 of the quadrant has to come make, or suppose if I say that from here to here, if it has to look from here to here like this, it has rotated 1/4. That means the time taken will be t by 4. Now why I am stopping my time at that point? Because after this, if it continues to rotate, let us say at any instant over here, it will not change the flux. Flux will be there, but it won't change. Okay, till when it will not change? It will not change till it comes to this situation over here. Okay, I'll drop this part. Till when? Till it returns and it attains this position. Okay. So it rotates 1/4, then 1/4 it rotates inside the field, and then for another 1/4 now it is going to come out. Now it is going to come out. So when it is going to come out, I'll rub this now. Okay. Okay, just imagine this is the field over here. Okay, this is different here. So this is one thing and this is another thing. Okay. So over here, so it is going to come out. So if it is going to come out, it will look like this. So it has now come out. So 0 to t, flux is changing. I'm sorry. 0 to t by 4, flux is changing. T4 to t by 2, flux is not changing. T by 2 to 3t by 4, flux is changing. And now 3t by 4 to again capital T, flux is not changing because now it is going to rotate in air and then it will become like this from here to here. So this is position 1, this is position 2. So from position 1 to position 2, it takes a time of t by 4. From position 2 to position 3. So from position 2 to position 3, it takes another t by 4. From position 3 to position 4, it takes another t by 4. From position 4 to position 1 again. This is again 1. So position 4 to position 1, it again takes a time of t by 4. T by 4, T by 4, T by 4, T by 4, total time is t. And when is the flux changing? Flux is changing only during two intervals of time. From position 1 to 2, flux is changing. This is the one where the flux is changing. This is inside the field, no change. Now it is coming out, so flux is changing. Correct? So if I have to plot, how will it look like? Remember at the same time, phi is also proportional to t. So phi proportional to t means it's a straight line. Y is equal to mx plus c. So it will be a straight line. And this will be equal to t by 4. After that, the flux becomes constant. The flux becomes constant for another time till it becomes t by 2. And then it starts decreasing. It starts decreasing. That is 3t by 4. And then it becomes 0. Because once it is completely out, there is no flux associated with the with the loop. Okay. So from t by 4 to t by 2 it is maximum, and then from t by 2 to 3t by 4 it starts decreasing, and once it has completely come out from here to here, nothing is happening. Okay. So it enters the field. It's a all field. Okay. And this is where it is leaving out. I hope these diagrams are clear to you. So this is all field over here. This is the boundary here, and these are all. And every time it is rotating. This is very important part. Every time it is rotating like this. Okay. So from here to here, so we have got the function of flux. So flux increases in the beginning, then becomes constant, and that is the maximum. How does the EMF graph looks like now for the same situation? So if I consider that the flux is changing over here, how will I find the EMF over here? So EMF is equal to d phi by dt. If I want to take the mod, so if I differentiate this, what will I get? I will get b pi r square divided by 2 pi into omega. So t will go out because of differentiation. Can you see this? It is exactly same here. Can you see this exactly same? Just think pi gets cancelled out. B r square omega 2, B r square omega 2, pi gets cancelled out. Exactly same. So EMF. So the EMF will be developed from 0 to t by 4. Then from T by 4 to T by 2, because the flux is not changing, so nothing will be there. Now from T by 2 to 3T by 4, I will get a EMF which will again try to oppose the cause, since the flux is changing in the opposite direction. So the increased EMF will be also developed in the opposite direction of the previous one. So this is your T by 2. Now this one is your 3T by 4. And then again this is your T. So this is for one cycle. This is my induced EMF versus time. Okay. How does the question will change if instead of taking a quadrant circle, a quadrant, if I take a semicircle, if I take a semicircle. If I take a semicircle, say that this is my semicircle. Now it starts entering. So let us, at any instant of time, this is the center, about which it is rotating. Center. Say that it has entered by how much amount? Let us say it has entered by the amount of theta, where theta is equal to omega times of t, and this is the rotation omega. Okay. How much time it will take to become like this? It will take a time of t by 4. Okay. So here your time is t by 4. That means it has rotated 1/4, 90 degree. But can you say that the flux has become maximum? No, flux has not yet become maximum, because still more is going inside, and the flux will keep on increasing till the loop rotates by 180 degree. Just consider this much part over here, this much part over here. So as this starts entering into the, flux is changing. Flux is changing. It is changing. Okay. This is still changing. Now from here it will further rotate here downward. Okay. Till here the flux will keep on changing till the time it enters completely. So unlike the previous case where we were getting some region when we attained the maximum flux and that flux remained for some time, that thing is not going to happen over here when we take semicircle. So the flux will increase, and it will increase till t by 2. It will increase till t by 2, and then immediately starts decreasing also after t by 2, and it will again take another t by 2 time, to completely decrease to become 0. So in this case, I just draw it over here. So it was here like this, now it has gone like this. Now this is another 3t by 4 is coming out. Okay, it will come out, and then again it becomes this. Okay, and then back to this one. So over here, what we have to think here is this, that since the area has also become doubled, so it will increase for a larger time. And this is your t by 2, and then it starts decreasing, and this is your t. Attains the peak and then comes down. Total time t by 2. How does the induced EMF will look like? Induced EMF in the first part will increase for how much time? And then from here it will go down, and this is your T. Induced EMF. This is T by 2. So this is second question. So these are also very important questions where they ask you to plot. Okay, so just remember this is the logic, and if they ask you to plot both, then first plot the phi, because phi will help you to get the value of EMF. or vice versa, whichever way you are comfortable. Remember, when EMF is horizontal, phi should be inclined. This you remember. When EMF is horizontal, phi should be inclined. Okay. Okay. Now there are some few other types of question which you should know. For example, now just try to remember this. In class 11, when we discussed the question of pure rolling, that is rolling without slipping, there is a point. If I consider this particular question, if this is having an angular velocity and this is the center is having a velocity of v, and if your v is equal to r omega, this v is the velocity of center of mass. If v is equal to r omega, then this point attains a velocity of 0. The net velocity of this point is 0. Okay, try to recall this point. The net velocity of this point is 0. If net velocity of this point is 0, we call this point as instantaneous point of rotation, or the whole phenomena is called pure rolling. Now what I am going to do now is I am going to generate a magnetic field over here. I am going to generate a magnetic field over here, and let us say that this is a ring, a metallic ring, which is having pure rolling in this magnetic field. Okay. And now I am going to discuss some points over here. Let us say this point is point O, and this point is point A, and this point is point B. Always refer to that point as point O, which has 0 velocity in the entire rotation. Okay. Now, if you do remember my previous lecture on numericals, we have discussed one question. Try to remember that question. That question was on motional EMF, that a semicircular ring is having a velocity v like this. So when we wrote the EMF of this ring in a magnetic field, when we wrote the EMF of this, we wrote this as BVL, and in the L we took this length as 2R. Just the previous video on motional EMF and numericals. Okay, we took this because I described in that particular question that if I take a small components over here, ultimately the component which will be perpendicular to velocity will be this component, which will be perpendicular to velocity. Velocity is in this direction, so velocity is in this direction. So this, and if you add all these components from here to here, you get the total diameter of the ring. So that also is very important. Now, over here I want to know, I will just directly go to the question. I want to know what is the value of VA minus VB. How much is this? Trust me, you cannot find directly because the formula which we have derived, V omega L square by 2, it has been derived by keeping one point fixed. Remember the general formula? So that one point need to be fixed in this question also. So we use the concept of point whose velocity is 0. And that point is my virtual fixed point now. Okay. So what will I do? I will first find this one. Just imagine this one, this distance. How much is the distance? 2r. So I will write here as VA minus V0 is equal to B omega, length is 2r whole square divided by 2. Remember this entire radius, and radius is r, and this is behaving like 2r. Okay, that's effective length. Now suppose I want to find VB minus VO. So this is your VB minus VO. VB minus VO. You have to find, I'm repeating you have to find always with respect to point O. VB minus VO will be equal to B omega distance square by 2. How much is this distance? This distance you can use the Pythagoras theorem. This is R from here to here. So this is root 2 times of R. So this is root 2 times of R. And now we can subtract. This is more, so equation 1, equation 2. Okay, so if I do 1 minus 2, what will I get? I will get VA minus VB. And then you can do this subtraction over here. V omega 4r square by 2 minus B omega 2r square by 2. And then you can simplify to get the further answer. Okay, so whenever a disc or ring is rotating in a magnetic field, and if they are asking you potential difference, remember the area which you have to think about is the area of rotational EMF, and you have to look for a point which is fixed. The moment you locate the fixed point, your radius starts from there, okay, that point. And then use the formula B omega L square by 2. So this is about rotational mechanics. Thank you for watching.